It is August 25th at 5 o'clock. We have a quorum. We have Alan on a Zoom. I have Cecil here with me and myself. I'm thinking that Andrew may come in at some point and/or Zoom in, but we'll see how that plays out. So the first item on the agenda is public speak, and I think Katie would like to speak.
Yes. Is that all right?
Sure, why don't you come up and have a seat?
Up there?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. I'm a member of St. Joan of Arc Catholic Church, the parish, and our pastor, Father Peter, he served in the Army for 25 years. He was a paratrooper, peacekeeping in the Middle East, and he is giving a talk. He became a priest at 60.
He's a hot rock.
What?
He's a hot rock, too.
Well, Peter means rock. Do you know him?
I've met him a few times.
Okay, yeah, he is. He is hot. Anyway, he is giving a lecture at St. Joan of Arc in the Parish Hall on September 8th at 5 p.m. entitled Wartime Grief and Veteran Suicides. Following the talk and discussion, whatever, the movie Taking Chance will be played. That's the one that's starring Kevin Bacon. And the subtitle of Taking Chance is The Greatest Casualty is Being Forgotten. Okay, thank you.
Very nice.
And what time was that again?
Which one?
5 o'clock, the lecture starts at 5, and then the movie will be, I don't know,
6:30.
yeah, 6:37, right?
Excellent, thank you.
Very good,
Thank you.
Anyone else for public speak? Marty?
So for the record, Martin Saber, Veterans Memorial Park at Academy Place nonprofit. I just wanted to talk a little bit about maintenance of the park. So Katie and I were there on Monday that I thought was going to be a quick pull some weeds and clean it all up. We were there an hour and a half. I filled half of my truck bed and we got through barely half of the flower bed on Main Street. It's bad. I mean, the crabgrass is seeded. At one point, I'm weeding away and a bush popped up. I mean, it like is covering stuff. So we got to figure something else. I mean, talk to the town. At least mulch every spring, like, you know, a good 2 inches. That'll help. And I don't mind putting some preen down to kind of kill germination.
Right.
But I mean, I'm an old man, I can't weed. I mean, there's 10, 12 hours probably left to clean it up. The one on 28 is a mess. The one on the corner of Academy and 28 is also pretty bad.
Right.
So at some point,
I did drive by there the other day and I saw one of the DPW workers there with a shovel, and he was working actually right on that bed, I think, right on the corner of 28 and Main. Unless he was there for another reason, I'm not sure, but it looked like he was doing something there. But I do know that there's been, with the new park, the new beds, and again, I'm not...
yeah, there's a lot more maintenance than the old one.
Absolutely,
right?
and that was one of the first things that our committee had spoken to the town about when we were first looking at redoing Veterans Memorial Park, was we're moving it from being just a simple bed that went around the World War II monument to basically, you know, and all they had to do was mow the lawn. Now they've got beds that need to be addressed. So there was, right from the get-go, there was some acknowledgement that the park was going to be a little bit more involved than what we originally thought, and or what we originally planned. And I think the hope is that, you know, one is, and I know, you know, in speaking with Rich Waldo, they're shorthanded. They don't have a lot of extra personnel that can do a lot of extra work above and beyond just regular mowing. But the agreement was that our committee was going to possibly step up and, you know, maybe make some work parties here and there, and, you know, spend a couple of hours once a month, you know, pick a bed.
I think that's what we'll have to do is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Stay on it.
And I think that the agreement, I don't want to say so much an agreement, but the understanding was that it was going to take us a good year to understand exactly what that
Yeah.
park was going to need from us meaning the town in regards
Yeah.
to maintaining it. And
If we can get a commitment to put down a good 2 inches of mulch every spring, that would go a long way. Because it was pro bono and they put a thin little layer of mulch down and a lot of that has,
Right.
turned into dirt, which has only helped the weeds. So I just want to bring it up that it really does not look very nice right now. We'll keep chipping away at it, see what we can do.
Yeah.
Most of the flower beds on Academy aren't bad, but
I
the
know
ones
that-
right where on Main and 28, unfortunately, though, both those roads are ugly.
And
so.
actually, the beds up there by the Christmas tree, they've really kind of,
Yeah,
they
there's
actually
some
started going over the top of a couple of the monuments that are there, so I
Yeah.
mean, we need to,
All right, well, we'll-
take a long, hard look at it.
Yeah,
I think-
we'll have some work parties and stuff, but, we'll keep chipping away at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I know that just prior to the 4th of July, the town came in there and they snapped their fingers and they made that area up by the Christmas tree look really nice, where we ended
Yeah.
up putting the American flags around the seated wall. So obviously they've got the ability to do so, but I think it would be better if we could preemptively keep up on the park as opposed to
Yeah.
reactively. And, I think there's gonna be a bit of a learning curve for all of us, for the town and
Yeah.
for us, and involvement. I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, we'll put together a work party. The other is to actually put together a work party and to find out
Yes.
if we got some people in town that could help. And perhaps not the Orleans Improvement Association, but the group that does the plantings over by Snow Library, perhaps they could help us out. But
Yeah, I was
again, we've
wondering
got to
who did
reach
that.
out.
I know in my old town, there was a Friends of something or other,
Yeah.
and they would go around and do the flower beds, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we have anything like that, so.
And we can certainly reach out to some of the local contractors to see if they can, help us out as well, like say Ponderosa or,
Yeah,
Prince
maybe get some-
Landscaping, maybe they could, if
Pretty
we have a
good deal
work
on
party
some-
going in place, maybe they could
Okay.
join us and help us out as
Yeah.
well. I do know in talking with Rich Waldo that if we do put together a work party to do a little cleaning in the park, the DPW will give us a truck and a dump truck, so we can put the materials in it, and they'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's gonna have to be, as opposed to our committee and the 501c3 looking at the town saying, hey, do something, I think we're gonna have to roll up our sleeves, like you did, and thank you very much,
Yeah.
both of you, for
We're
doing
going
that.
back
That's-
Thursday.
That was
Yeah,
huge.
keep chiseling away at it.
Yeah, no, and again.
I just wanted to bring it up that it's they got a lot of beds to it.
Yep.
And they did a nice job of mowing the lawn though, I think they've
Oh,
really.
they do, they do a nice job on the mowing and the edging and
Yeah.
everything, I think that looks
Yeah.
great, but I think the beds are a little bit of a, I don't think they were quite expecting.
I don't think that's part of their thing, as far as
Well,
I
when-
can tell,
when-
right?
when
Doing
Cheryl-
flower beds.
When Cheryl worked for the town, Cheryl Alves, and then Samantha, both of them were, I mean, you'd see them with a bucket and on their hands and knees, and they'd be picking the weeds and everything. They were,
Yeah.
but I don't think that they're there. I mean, I know Samantha's been moved from there to the DPW to fill in open spots. So again,
All right.
I think this winter, we're gonna have to take a long, hard look at it and try to figure out exactly what our best angle of attack. I know Brian has already fired an email off to Calvin and Rich in regards to the same issues.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely.
Well, the weeds were still there, Brian.
No, I only,
A week later, nobody had come by to pick them up, so thank you very much.
yeah, that was,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, nobody picked them up.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Marty. Anybody else for public speak? Oh, and I meant to mention before, in attendance tonight, we have Cecil, we have Alan Chase, and myself. So I'm just acknowledging the three members, so we do have a quorum should we have any items that need to be voted on. So, with that being said, moving on to the next item, the outstanding punch list items. I had a chat with Russ Kleekamp today. He said that the electric has been basically signed off on. The electrical stubs are in place for the memorials, but the agreement was through the bid process, the actual bid that went out, the bid states lighting for the memorials, but it was contingent upon what those memorials were to decide what the lighting was gonna be. So they've stubbed it out. Each one of the memorials has an electrical supply. Once those memorials are in place, then they can come back and tie them in. But any kind of additional work is gonna come back on either the town, our committee, a 501c3, in regards to what that type of lighting is. They couldn't put that in the bid because they didn't know what the memorials were, so they didn't know what kind of lights to put in. So right now, it's stubbed out, and then we have to determine what we want to have in there for lighting. The irrigation, I know that Rainmaker, what's his name?
Well, that,
Paul has spoken to, he's reached out to Rich. He said that he will stay in the wings, so to speak, and fine tune the irrigation system. He said that there's still a couple of sprinkler heads that need to be tweaked. I think he had 180-degree sprinkler heads, but he's going to adjust them to 45-degree because they're oversweeping, they're spraying the road. So he's going to come in and replace some of those. And then at the plantings, I have not followed up with Agway to find out. I know that one bed was left undone, and whether or not there were any plantings that were left on the bid, so to speak. But also I know Dave Hawk wants to do a walkthrough to identify any die-off through the winter, and then anything that may not have survived or any changes. Now, we may not want to add another bed where we originally have it on the plan, which is where that sign is going to go, or ultimately.
Right.
But perhaps the plants that would normally go into that bed can be substituted into some of the other areas that need to be replacements.
I see.
So,
Uh,
yes,
I
Brian?
was just gonna say, as far as the base of the World War II, so other than, well, obviously just pulling the weeds out, because it's bare, what I was I just want to see if maybe we just do this with Dave Hawk's walkthrough, because he had suggested some varieties that would work. So so a couple things. I did talk to Agway just to say, yeah, we can order stuff, and it's a good time to do it, to plant in the fall, obviously, now that warmer weather is hopefully past. So it's a good time to order whatever we want, and I remember him saying Berry's good, not boxwoods. And I did talk to Dylan and Paul, and he said that the water's connected, so Dylan from Prince Landscaping, said that he, as long as we know what we're planting, he said he'll connect the drip line and set it up.
Right.
So right now it just sits there
Right.
until we figure out what do you want to put in. We can.
Right. So I think we're focusing in a little bit on some of the outstanding punch list items. The electric is more or less, that's done. Irrigation and plantings are still kind of in limbo. Again, talking with Dave Hawk, he'll be able to finalize with us what needs to be done for the plantings.
Apologies. Lighting. Is the light working, or does it need to be repaired to light the flags?
It's working. I've been by there twice. The light is on. It may not be the brightest light in the world. That might be something we can change out. We can ask for a replacement, but it is lit. But the park does look dark. I will say it looks dark. I understand that. But we also starting to segue into the town's bylaw in regards to lighting. We don't want to get to a point where we don't want to have Hollywood lights shooting up into the trees and everything, which are going to violate the town's bylaw in regards to the lighting. We need to, once we get to a point where we're looking at something like that, we need to talk to the town and say, what can we put in here? And there was some discussion at one point about there was no other uplighting allowed in town. Now, I don't know whether that includes the Memorial Park or whether that was residential. I don't know if it includes the commercial area, which is downtown. Ironically, the commercial area is on the outside of the park. Commercial doesn't start, the business district doesn't start until you get in front of Rockland Trust going into town. So Academy Place falls within a residential area. Now, the park itself could be considered part of the town, could be considered commercial because it is part of the town. We're all kind of in a new area here. It was never really something that was just, the only lighting that was ever in that park was for the World War II monument. So, but it's on my agenda. I've got a couple of other items that I have to talk to the town about. So let me find out what they're going to allow us to do. I would love to see uplighting on the cherry trees. I'd love to see better uplighting on the World War II monument.
Yeah.
I'd love to see uplighting on the
It looks so nice.
Christmas tree. But again, we don't want to, let's not upset the apple cart.
Yeah, yes, yes, and yes.
We've got a good momentum going now, so
Yes,
let's.
yes, and yes to all those.
Right, so we'll just continue to march, but again, and again, I don't mean to push anything off, but this summer has been rather difficult to try to get any of the other committees nailed down to talk. A lot of our other committees in town have went into a hiatus over the summer, and they're not picking up again until September and October. So, hopefully, once we get through the summer, we can pick up where we left off and continue to march. So by Memorial Day of next year, everything will be in place and it'll be all squared away, so. Okay. I don't have anything additional on punch list items in regards to electric, irrigation, or plantings unless anybody at the 501c3 has anything more. Follow up on the signing of thank you letters. Once again, I am errant. It is on me. I did not get those letters squared away. This summer, I don't know where it went. I want to do over. I lost all of August. I don't know where it went, but I will get those follow-up letters, I promise. I know Alan's like, what the heck are you doing? So we'll get that in place. Next item on the agenda, unless anybody has anything else they'd like to discuss. The next item on the agenda is the Korean War bronze plate and the granite block. Final discussion on the marker. Tom Blute is here. And we were thinking that we'd have another item to show before, but what we have now is what the latest, and I will let Tom discuss while I pull up the image. So as we originally talked about, the chosen reservoir was the centerpiece for our, can you see that okay, Alan? Okay. The centerpiece is the Marines coming out of the chosen reservoir. The idea was to surround the image with the other armed services. We have the Coast Guard on the lower right, the Navy on the lower left, MASH tent left side, Army helicopter, medvac upper left. We have a tank and we have the Air Force. Again, this was just a quick put together with the items, the ideas. And again, it's a work in progress, but I will let Tom take the floor at this point.
Okay, first, you all revealed this at last meeting, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so this was basically the taking the images and putting them in a collage format and kind of going from there. I think the feeling was it needed to be more of a scene.
Can you see that okay, Alan?
The hope is to be more of a scene and less of a collage. So then we took the topography from the reservoir and kind of spread that out and showed just the difficult terrain that this war dealt with. Again, it's kind of hard to plug in Navy and Coast Guard vehicles, boating with aircraft, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, this is image 2. Certainly the carrier looks like it's dry docked, so we've already put into motion about getting the water. Maybe we shrink the MASH tent a little bit and switch places with the tank. And these are things that are up for debate, but this is just something for you all to kind of look at. We've also gone from a strict leatherette background, which was the first one, to kind of a hand rubbed bronze look, so it's much softer. It doesn't jump out at you like the black background with the bronze images. So this is kind of the next piece put up for interpretation and to make changes to hopefully not tear it apart too much, but if there are questions or concerns,
Can I make a suggestion?
now's the time.
Isn't the water or the ocean, whatever, Sea of Japan behind the mountains,
Yes?
well, why can't the aircraft carrier sit out there?
Yeah, there's no rules or regulation, maybe we shrink the mountains and try to show more
Or
of the
move them
water.
over to the right,
Yeah.
maybe, and put and shrink the aircraft carrier a
But
little.
the thing is, the aircraft carrier is the biggest thing on this, and
Right.
not that everything is in proportion, but that certainly is,
The only thing that crossed my mind, just when it came up, when I first saw it, I was like, I think we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely headed in the right direction. Only thing I was thinking was with the aircraft carrier, obviously, like you said, it looks like it's in dry dock, looks like somebody left it out. But if the aircraft carrier and the Coast Guard boat were switched, so they're both kind of facing in, so the aircraft
Yeah.
carrier would be on that side and then the Coast Guard cutter on the
or
side.
we just turn it from where it is, yeah.
Yeah, but my thought was, is there any way we might be able to soften the background behind these other images? So it isn't so much like they're flying in front of the mountains, but the
Right.
helicopter is kind of, and my thought was kind of, like I said, kind of soften the edge, but keep it just the flat bronze underneath the helicopter, so that kind of pops out. And
Uh-huh.
then maybe the little, kind of highlight or halo around the aircraft carrier to kind of separate it from the actual image itself.
Yeah,
And just kind of make it so the softer bronze is, kind of like that image that we had from behind your shop.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think this is definitely really the next step, but it's, again, minimizing the mountain range, bringing in more of the sea,
Right.
and maybe put half the front of the tank, like following up the soldiers, I don't know. So this is just where we debate and talk and take notes.
Cecil?
Well, Brian's first.
Okay.
Yes, Brian?
Suggestion on this drawing. Well, I love, the chosen reservoir scene is great. But here's what I would suggest, as this collage look goes. Whether, if I'm looking at the sky or I'm looking at the sea, what I would do is take that, I don't know why we need two naval symbols, so I might say it's busy, take one out.
Well,
So
one's Coast
just-
Guard, the other's Navy.
So just, okay, so for now, one of the things I would suggest is if you take that aircraft carrier, put it in the upper left, and as a result, it looks like it's out at sea, and the net is that aircraft carrier could be like half the size up in the upper left corner because it's in the distance. Then I would take the tank and move it where the aircraft carrier is. And then I'd say that would be much better
Yeah,
than, so by putting it in the distance, you're shrinking the size of the carrier. And the plane could be where the tank is, I guess, yeah, or put the tank where the tank would look better off to the side of the road.
yeah.
And if the plane moves over where the tank is, that's fine. But I think that's my idea, to put the carrier in the distance and then it just looks much smaller.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, folks, can I add a few things here?
absolutely.
Because I think everybody's hit what I was kind of thinking of in my head. I'm looking at the bottom, and it looks like 42 wide by 18 high, so it's going to be a smallish plate. And what strikes me is there's a lot going on, so I think everybody's kind of hit on something similar. That's like declutter it. And maybe, I think I heard Kevin say, blur things out a little bit, because when you've got it in front of you on bronze, it's going to be less visible to the eye. So I think those comments that just came in were all good. Also, putting things where you naturally expect them. The Air Force jet maybe more into the air if the tank goes back on the ground. All those kind of things were great. And I did like the perspective that Kevin was hitting as well. But yeah, it seems to me that there's a lot going on here, and the more you can kind of clean it up, the easier it will be visible to the human eye in person as what looks to be like a 3.5 foot by 1.5 foot plaque. So I would agree with everything y'all just said, because it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. My only fear is I just don't want to be too cluttered where people will look at it and they try to think, well, why is there a tank flying above the Marines coming out of the Chosen, and why is there
Yeah, and that's what this is
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
This
Just
discussion is exactly what is needed.
Yeah. Cecil?
Do we have a picture of the original stamp?
Yes, we
I
do.
have it right here.
Um,
Well, it's small, but
I think we're getting a little crazy with this thing. The stamp, I thought, was very simple, it covered everybody, and we have the permission.
We have it,
for
Kevin?
You know, what's
Oh, you
the rest
mean
of it?
the actual stamp itself?
So,
I don't,
so to the point of decluttering, if we use the stamp as the centerpiece, but vertically on the right and the left have 3 images in their own little space.
Similar to what we originally started with?
Yeah, except that it could be like not in a circle, it could be just vertical, so the stamp gets bigger, and that the imagery on the sides is more just linear instead of, and it would not be with the background, like it would be delineated in thirds. So it could be sort of stamp-like, stamp, stamp, stamp down the sides, because those are the images, and then the center could be,
so this was one of the bronze images that Tom had presented to us. And then, of course, that
Yep.
shows the center, shows the
yeah,
raising the flag at Iwo. And then around the outside
that
edges,
one,
they're kind of
yeah.
blurred away a little bit.
I
But
like that one.
yeah, I mean, that was one of Tom's original,
And the perspective here makes sense, as the boat's in the water,
right.
and the planes are in the sky.
But it kind of.
It's also vertical, it's a vertical plaque.
Right,
Yeah.
I
right.
mean, ours is not, ours is horizontal, so therefore, I mean, we can minimize everything and we can do, the problem with what you're saying, I know what you're saying, having, 6 separate,
Like three, will
but
make one.
think
boat.
of a ship. It's horizontal.
Yeah,
Everything is horizontal, there's nothing.
so it would be disproportionate.
Today, we could be all drones.
No
But,
kidding.
but back then, you can't, so, and I think that's, our goal was to try to make this more of a scene, and that's why I'm saying, we could put half the tank behind the mountains coming up behind the soldiers, and we don't have to have, but again, we needed criticism and critique from everybody, and that's how you arrive at a good product, as opposed to just saying, well, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion too about?
I'm just gonna hold this up, so Alan can see this. I should have included, can you see that okay, Alan? And then this was a hand drawing that was done long ago, which kind of showed the images to the outside edges.
Gotcha.
Oh, Andrew's with us. Hello, Andrew.
Is there no volume?
You're muted.
Hello.
There it is,
Hello?
that's better.
Yeah, I had trouble getting on the screen with you. I've been listening with interest.
Okay, let me just check off Andrew. Okay, so you've been hearing the discussion so far?
Yes, I have.
Can you see the bronze image that we have up here?
Right.
Okay?
I
So,
agree that it shouldn't be too cluttered.
Right.
Kevin, can I make a suggestion?
yes,
The MASH tent, if it was where the tank is, would almost make more sense, like hidden, like a pushback, I should say, in the mountains in between, and like have the tank where the MASH tent is.
Yeah. And that's, I think, that was the direction. If we pull the tank down to where the carrier is, put the carrier out back, shrink the height of the mountains, show more sea, get the helicopter and the plane above the mountains, reduce the wall on the right-hand side of stone. The Coast Guard is gonna have to stand alone, but if we put the water around it for imagery,
We'll get it.
yeah, and then the carrier in the back, and we make the MASH tent really small and tuck it
Right.
by the water. It doesn't have to be as large as everything else
No.
in proportion, because it's an understood image, and I think a lot of people relate to Korea with the
Right.
MASH tent,
And the MASH
through
series.
media. I mean, it just,
Well, the
through
chopper and the
TV.
tent, yeah, the chopper and the tent
Go together.
nearby kind of go
Yeah.
together, I think.
So that might be the thing to do, and then, again, we're gonna free up the plane and put it over a mountain as opposed, I think we can put the tank almost in back of the soldiers, but half the tank, maybe the front, the star,
Mm.
I don't think you need the whole
Oh,
tank.
that's a good idea.
That's true.
That's
So
good.
we can do things like that too, but this is, I think it's important to see that the scene and the brush bronze looks a lot nicer,
Mhm.
as even depicted in here, it's just, so I think this is very, very beneficial to get everybody's ideas and, I'll put it to the bronze company, and unfortunately, everybody's so maxed out that instead of turning it around in a week, they're turning it around in 3 weeks, so, but, if I take all of you, which I took notes, and all of your constructive criticism, then hopefully we're a tweak away at the next, presentation, and I can also circulate this as soon as I get it. I just got this, Friday, so.
Yeah.
I think at this point, and I don't mean to walk on Tom, but kind of follow up on what Tom is talking about. I think as we move forward to finalizing or coming into focus to what this image for the Korean and for the Vietnam as we get closer, when Tom has some ideas, he'll send them to me. I'll be the conduit by which I'll send out to everybody to take a look at. And we don't necessarily have to wait until we have a veterans meeting to discuss
Yeah,
it.
that'd be good.
You kick it up to us, I can send it out to everybody, have everybody kind of speak to the images, and then we can, work a little bit offline
Yeah.
in regards to the focusing in.
Yeah,
on the
that would be
final image.
smart, coming down the wire, I
Yeah,
agree.
I mean, if we were to hold our meeting,
Oh, man,
the
well,
decisions
yeah,
to 1 month, we
this is
would
what
be
we'll
way
be
behind the
doing.
ball when it came to making decisions and having it in place before the winter.
Yeah, is it better to meet, is it possible, whether we meet at Tom's place, and then if he's got his vendor, we can jockey around the images, together?
That's
Cover that.
Tom's, I'll let Tom speak to that. I don't, whatever is gonna work best for him.
Mhm.
I mean, if you wanna send the images to me and I'll send them out and report back as soon as everybody has an idea, or if you wanna meet us at,
Yeah, I'll communicate and things hopefully start to slow down a bit.
yeah,
I'm trying to finish up the the Revolutionary one for Harwich, that's really gaining traction, then I have a big Brewster Museum job, and that is too, so I have them, I got a couple, so those two are moving along, those will be done inside of a month, so we'll just keep, as soon as I get this, and like I said, hopefully this is it. And then I have the Vietnam one here with its changes, it just needs final approval and proof. I did, well, when you're ready to move on.
I mean, other than some minor tweaks and everything, does everyone agree that we're basically on the right path in regards to this? The idea was to have this bronze plaque that's going to represent the branches of service, and make them identified appropriately on this bronze plate. Doesn't have to be, it's just an image. It's just an idea that this is the Navy, this is the Coast Guard, Air Force, Army, Marines, all the branches of service that served during Korea. Yes, Katie?
Just like someone suggested, you don't even have to have the whole tank, you could have the front of it, because everybody would recognize it.
Right, exactly.
And
That's-
even the aircraft carrier, I'm looking at it, but sometimes when I see aircraft carriers on the news, you don't see the whole thing, you see like half of it, just the side of it. I mean, I think people would recognize even from the side of it.
Well, this one that you see here, it's half the ship at the bottom, it's half the tank, or the Jeep, or,
Right.
so yeah.
Well,
And again, it doesn't have to be a full representation, like if we're talking about the Navy, it doesn't have to be, like we said, the whole.
But again, we are horizontal.
Right.
And
Right,
that's
right,
what you
that's
gotta
the
But if
remember.
you're, right, but obviously if you're putting it in the
Thank
if you're putting it in the distance as if that's the sea or the sky, the ship would be somewhat smaller and you'd still know what it is.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But I
Okay,
think-
I've got one extra thing.
Sure.
Could you just gave me a little admin staff trauma recollection. I used to have admirals that would constantly look at the clip art we put on the slides and
Yeah.
make sure that the thing was accurate.
okay,
So I didn't actually look at the shape, but we would want all of the vessels, aircraft, tanks, etc., to be accurate from the time period, because there'll be somebody who goes, hey, that wasn't there in
Yeah.
1952.
Well, when I put these images together, that's where they came from.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
So they match the time period for sure. I mean, just look at the,
I know the aircraft carrier is, number on the deck, I think is 50, that's the USS Champlain. She served during Vietnam, Korea, and the Coast Guard vessel was part of Korea as well. Now, the tanks, I'm not that well versed on tank nomenclature. I don't know if that's a T-50 or a Sherman, I have no idea. But, yeah, no, I think, Tom's dialed in on that.
yeah. So admirals can rest. That's a good point, though. It's a good point. That's what you need.
Yep. Any further discussion on the Bronze Memorial? I think we know which, we're continuing in March, just kind of fine tuning it and bringing it into focus, for lack of a better term.
All right.
Okay, and now moving on, the next item is going to be the Vietnam Memorial update. Let me pull that image up.
I don't know if anybody needs this, but did you find out where the,
Who's asking?
What, did you?
yeah, I was looking when I was looking, so.
I'll proof it, I haven't
No,
done it.
no, I'm just saying, Kevin found this one. What does it say, Caroline here?
Oh, Carol Nice, I think was the niece. It's Carol, C-A-R-O-L-L, Nice.
Did you see that? I
There's-
don't know
there's
if
two
that's
Ls.
her name, his name, that's the one that Kevin seemed to.
That was just the first one I spotted.
Okay.
And
So just
I know
for the proof,
Carol.
I don't know because I took this right from your PDF, so.
Alright.
But
Oh,
no,
Carol.
just like Korea, this is the time to vet it, look it out, check it out, be sure.
Okay.
All right, only because it's hard, the image is so big that Tom has sent, I'm just gonna have to kind of pull it up and show it in pieces. So this is the first portion, which is looking at the Vietnam Memorial. These are the pieces, Tom, if you wanna sit.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you want, I just use the up and down arrow,
Yeah.
that'll help
Do
you.
you have a piece that tells you the whole length, width, and thickness?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
if you should be able to see it right on this, all right, so if we start at this, and this is again up for discussion, but I spent some time, I went to Vermont to meet on all the projects that I've been working on. And, Andrew, I addressed once again the thickness, the 8-inch thickness has to be. I remember just before I went, you shot me an email or something. And in order for it to have the integrity, have the joints, and to be able to stand without any backers or whatever somebody proposed, this is the way to go. So I did address your concern, but the 8-inch, and that's what I brought to meetings when we approved it, so.
So 8 inches.
8 inches
thickness.
is the
We did
thickness.
too, that was, okay.
So then, the Vietnam beveled piece up front, that will have the name Vietnam, and, we can just, I think keeping it sweet like that, but I can change the lettering font, I can do just about anything. But, we can even after the materials and all are ordered, then we can alter that if we choose to. Now, the 1965 through 73, so we're putting a base under this whole monument. And what we proposed, what we thought we would do, is centered on the base, we're gonna cut a bevel into the base itself. So it will be, the base itself is 12 feet left to right, yeah. So what we're gonna do is have a small section smoothed out, cut at an angle, and put the dates, which would be on the base, just below the Vietnam name.
Would it be possible to get, next step is to see what?
Yeah, I can show you, I just wanted to propose what we're looking at here. I know I'm asking you to use your imagination,
Dates
but.
are not gonna be very large, is that correct?
Well, it's going to have, about a 5-inch bevel to it. If you see on the upper right, it'll be about a 5-inch barrel. You go in 4, down 4, it's about 5 and a quarter. So I would think the dates would be, 2 inches will give you, an inch and a half above, an inch and a half below. So I would think you'd do a 2 or 2.5 inch date.
What's the height of
Is there an
what's-
option to make those dates more larger, more prominent?
Yeah, that's pretty good
Each
size
end of
though.
the,
That's pretty good size, because you're gonna be right up and on it. And then the Vietnam, we can do same thing, a 3-inch letter or something like that. But there's, I can,
front and center in the triangular.
yes, but I mean, I can make that chamfer bigger if you wanna see bigger dates, but I don't think you want the dates bigger than the Vietnam and,
No,
No,
but I think Vietnam is the important thing. People
oh,
recognize.
100%, and I think these dates will be plenty big enough,
Right.
cut in, and it will be an important factor. But I think just the fact that they'll be isolated by themselves on the base, it will look really smart, and it'll be its own line item, you know what I mean? So as you peruse it, you'll focus on it.
did you,
By the way, I need to do some more research. I'm not absolutely certain that those dates are correct, but they're based, as far as my research has gone so far, they're based on when there were troops on the ground.
Yeah, okay.
65.
I'll put on what you guys tell me to, so
Yeah,
that's,
okay. Well, so this engraving is to be determined, perhaps finalized near the time after.
well, yeah, I mean, today, I've given this for Brian to proof and for your committee to proof, and just vet it out, make sure everything's spelt right. As far as, and then the next step, they have the material, we just have to order it for them to shape it and cut it. And then as far as, if you wanted to see a different font or something, that's fine, we'll have a month to choose that, but this is pretty much a Roman font that your eyes are used to seeing. Looks
I'm not
nice, it's
seeing-
detailed.
I'm not seeing that. Is that on this drawing?
It is, but it's very light compared to the lineage for,
So it would be helpful, I think, for us in the committee to see, near the time we approve the font, to see a better representation of
well,
size.
where's your camera, so you can hold that up?
Andrew, can you see what's on the display on?
Apparently you
I can
can't see
see
the names.
the top, I think the top section.
Is that any better? No?
No.
All right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well, what I'll
It would
do,
be great to, if someone could forward the committee, PDF of this. or
I will
whatever.
forward,
He has it.
before the night is over, I will forward everything that Tom has given me, I will forward it to all the members of the committee so you can see it.
Thank you. I may need to follow up with Tom. I'm not absolutely clear on what's being represented, but that'd be great. Thank you.
Brian?
yeah, I have several questions for Tom, but there's some things I'm just not seeing. First of all, I don't see, I thought we were talking about trying to, I want to know, well, let me just back up. I want to know what the length of the monument is end to end on the pads. I thought we were going to shrink it down from 12 feet. This doesn't tell me how high the monument is, and I don't see the height of the base where the years are. And I actually thought that we were, since now you've told us that the wings are 8 inches thick, I remember the discussion was that the years would be on the corners.
That was an
The wings.
option, that's one thing we discussed, we didn't
And keep this off the
narrow,
base.
we didn't narrow that down, that was a discussion point. I
Okay.
put together another option to be considered. You can have the dates on the edges, but they're standalone.
That was
You know what I
more
mean?
to,
You gotta go from one end, then you go to the other, and I just think this is more impactful, but if you tell me, or if the committee instructs me, then I'll gladly do that. When we put our heads together in Vermont, we thought, okay, having done a lot of these, what's the most impactful? When you first stand in front of this thing and look at it, it's, that's what we're going with. The base on it is 12 feet by 3 feet. So I'll get you the exact size of this thing. but
I
it's-
kind of like the idea, again, our committee can decide, amongst ourselves, but I kind of like the idea of the Vietnam on the slanted bevel piece, which is here, and
Yeah.
then directly underneath it on the base, we'll have the years. So
Yeah.
when you're looking at it, it'll say Vietnam 65 to 73, as opposed to 65 and 73 on the outside wings.
Yeah,
Tom, if
It'll-
it's not too much trouble, could you make a kind of a 3D view of what you have so far?
yeah.
So I think both Brian and I are a little bit in the dark as just looking at this line drawing. Also, I wanted to confirm that are we looking at two pieces for the V that are angled?
No, that's the single piece. I mean, this shows everything you've asked for, this just shows.
No, it's not angled.
The Vietnam
It's one
and
piece.
It's very much so. If you look at the piece, and then you look to the right, you see the Vietnam piece is one solid piece. If you look to the right of that, it shows
Yes.
the side view of that
Oh,
piece.
I see.
Yeah.
But it's one slab.
Oh,
for
yeah.
The whole.
It's one beveled piece, yeah.
that's the Vietnam section. The wings on either side are two sections. They're two separate.
That's my question. Are we still looking at two sections to make wings?
There's the right
Oh, yeah,
side.
Yeah, yeah.
And this-
It's the
Okay.
left and right of the names.
In the lower left-hand corner, that's the corner of the bevel from the
Now I
Vietnam.
can see, yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then
Good.
this is the left side,
Yeah.
with the right front is the area of the face covered by the slant marker, which will say Vietnam.
And the two wings are angled, is that correct?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, it's not a flat. It's
No,
not a
it's
flat.
Andrew, it's as close to what you originally proposed. And the angle of the slanted piece is consistent with the angle of the shape of the stone.
What is the height to the top of the
Right,
wing?
all right, thank
4
you.
feet.
What is the total height off the ground?
4 feet, 8 inches.
Is it still 12 feet across?
It-
Or is it
it's a
shorter?
It's like, I wanna say it is, I'll get you the exact ones, but I think it's, with the angle, it comes out to 11 feet. I think each piece is 5'6". And then the base is 12 foot by 3 foot.
Right. What is the dimension of the height of the base, Tom?
8 inches.
Yeah, okay, so everything is 8 inches, including the essential monument, is that correct? Thick,
Yeah, yes.
Deep? All right.
Um, the polished sand music. Question.
Yeah.
You just said the base is 8 inches, high,
Mhm.
and that's where the years, right now where you're locating the years. What is when you put the slanted base on, where it says polished front nosing, is that 2 inches?
Yes? That's the front of the slope,
Okay,
of the slant piece. Yeah?
all right. Question. I mean, this is a question for the committee. I had made a suggestion whether the monument, whether the committee or the town or we would like to put a quote on the base of the monument, either from a couple of whether they were novels, poems, to put on the monument. And the thought was you could put it across the base.
My concern, Brian, with that is it's going to clutter the base. And, I thought that could be something that they could access with the QR. That's a deeper level of information. I don't think it's necessary
So,
to engrave
let-
stone.
Let me just clarify, you want to have a poem or something written on the base?
Well, there was a time, I mean,
I know, we talked
Yeah,
about
there are a
having
couple
some
suggestions
ancillary.
from the
but
things they carried, or we were soldiers once, those were books.
Yeah,
and-
but I also understood through your conversation, you were concerned about the amount of lettering that was going on there, and you were trying to cut back because you're trying to save money.
Well, of course I want to be budget conscious, but I wanted to explore the idea of having a quote. I mean, you got something that lends the Vietnam Memorial to have something that's a little more meaningful than not just than just the names, but just to have something that represents the times. It was just a comment, either, you know, just, I mean, Tom gave me an idea what it would cost to do it. To me, it wasn't, you know, if that was a quote that we or someone else had, that was okay, as long as it made sense for people to do something like that.
I think our committee basically wants to get, you know, the monument in place, identified as Vietnam, the years of the conflict,
And the names.
and the names. Anything above and beyond, I think, was something that the committee would have to vote on, obviously, and to add it, and only add it in a place that it could be added without having to increase the cost of adding another base to make another flat surface to be engraved upon, or what have you. But it looks to me, from what I've seen, everything that Tom has presented, everything is all the boxes are being checked off. We've got Vietnam on the slanted part that bridges the two wings on either side, and then we've got the years of service underneath. What those years would be, you know, obviously we'll figure out as we get closer. But, you know, I don't really know if we need to have anything above and beyond. I mean, but our committee would have to decide.
Thank you, Kevin. I think you described the overall appearance well. My suggestion is that less is more, and I don't think we're doing any sort of special additional quotes or references on other monuments. So I'm really not in favor of adding, this is the first I've heard, adding any additional inscription.
Most of the quotes I remember from Vietnam, you can't print.
Yeah, there were some good ones from
Yeah, FUBAR would not be,
I mean, our theme song was the animals we gotta get out of this place.
yeah, well, yeah,
There you go.
I don't think, you know, maybe we could put a recording of that on the,
yeah, on the QR code.
I can do anything on a QR code.
yeah, right, that'd be cool.
No, I think we're definitely we're headed in the right direction. I don't see, unless this meeting tonight can see any diametrical, you know, headed in some direction that's not diametrically what we're proposing. I think Tom's spot on.
Right, so we're looking at the essential structure, right, of the hard stone.
Correct.
And the layout, all the letters and the
Yes.
names, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, it looks like you were able to fit all the names into.
I'm able to fit it with room for a couple to spare, yeah, in case
Great.
somebody else comes forward.
Good.
I think it'll be legible, I think it'll be very smart, and,
So
Andrew,
the font and size, well, the size is probably predetermined, but the font is to be determined, is that correct?
not at this point, this is ready to go. I mean, this is a Vermarco letter, which is used most of the time because it's a block letter, but it's a little softer, it's not as hard.
I'm not seeing that, Tom, where
Well,
does that
you,
show?
I'm gonna send it to him right now.
but if he can send it to you, because,
Can we defer the vote on the specific font until perhaps next meeting? Because that's gonna be the last thing being ready.
right, and it's,
The
if
final
we
step,
can
right.
sign off on the shape, that would be great.
I just sent it to you, Andrew.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I'll send the image to all our members so we can take a look at it.
I think we'd all like to see that, you know, font in more detail.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, just so everybody on the committee knows, including the 501c3, I'm going to forward this image that Tom has sent to me to each of us for two reasons. One, take a look at the font to see if there's something that we need to, I think we should defer, obviously, we have the idea that we're looking at, but Tom knows what font looks best on memorials, so I would almost defer to him for the best look going forward.
You
and what
want to
stands
try
out.
to avoid serifs and stuff like that. You want to keep it in block, but you don't want it to be so bold that it
Right.
lists this. But, I mean, again, everything I do is based on how you guys vote, so.
But also, I want everyone in the committee to take a look at the names. And individually, I want everybody to take a look at the names that are on the memorial and see if there's anything that's, needs to be tweaked, adjusted, if there's a
Good idea.
spelling error, and direct that back to me. And I will, once I've collected everybody's, either an email from you stating that I don't see any issues, or I see this issue, once I get something back from everybody, I'll be in communication with Tom directly, as opposed to each of us trying to talk to Tom. Let me be the central focus, back to Tom, and then we'll move forward from there. And I think it's most important that Brian and the 501c3, because they're the ones that vetted out all the names for the actual memorial itself, to make sure that those names are correct on their roles as well as what we know from our side, because maybe they've got a name that isn't correct on their as well. So we'll just collectively, we'll all take a look at the names and make sure that they are correct.
Tom, what is the font name, what is the name?
What is it
of that
called?
font?
It's Vermarco, Vermaco. It's a stonecutters. It's not really one you'll find on your computer.
Yeah, I think that's a little mystery to me. Thank you.
Yeah,
What's, Tom, you probably already, might have already said it, what's the height of the letters?
3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
The other thing I want to mention, Andrew, before I forget, because I have a brain like a sieve, nothing stays in.
It's all right, Kevin. So,
The years, you were concerned about the years 65 to 73. What does the United States government look at for the conflict for the years?
I think my research, and I went fairly deep, the consensus is the first ground troops landed, Marines on Da Nang in 1965. And technically, the main combat troops departed by the end of 73. And then there were some Marines left to guard the embassy, etc. But I think those are the essential start and ending dates. But I'm happy to dig deeper, and if anybody else has, maybe Cecil or any other Vietnam veteran might have different ideas, we welcome that.
Well, I think we should make sure that we stay true to what the United States identifies as Vietnam. The last thing I want to have is anybody go to the park and say, oh, this says Vietnam ended in 73. Well, I could have sworn I was on a helicopter going off the rooftop in 1975. So
Well, that's true, yes.
I just want to make sure that, we're true to what the United States identifies as the actual conflict itself.
I think the criteria that I was working on, Kevin, was boots on the ground. Units, divisions, battalions that were present, fighting.
You could go all the way back to the AVG for the Flying Tigers. What's his name? Not Chinook. Chiral's Flying Tigers. They were flying for the, but that was well before 65. But again, I don't think the United States identified it as Vietnam, so to speak. So I just want to make sure that that when we solidify this, that we are absolutely on terra firma.
I'm quite agreed, I will dig deeper and invite anybody else to, do some of the research.
Okay. Brian?
I just want to ask if you want to make another insertion into the base. A couple things. Well, first of all, I think you said the word Vietnam is 8 inches.
Is what?
The word Vietnam is 8 inches high?
No.
What is the height of those letters?
It would be like 3 inches.
The word Vietnam?
Yeah, 3 or
Okay,
4, 3 or
so
4
they-
inches.
All right, so
This base is 2 inches right here. So if you take that as 2 inch, that's going to be 2.5, maybe 3 inches.
okay,
Yeah, it'd be 3.5 inches, yeah.
okay. So now, all right. So now go up to where the panel is, where the base is, where the ears are.
Yeah?
So I think Andrew mentioned it before. The years would be smaller than the word Vietnam, or suggestion that they're smaller, that they not be the same size.
Correct,
Okay,
that's what Tom said.
all right, so that, I would shrink that. The other thing is.
Okay, but look at the space, so it will be, that, you have 40.5 inches roughly of that cutout. You know, even though the angle piece is 48, based on the slant, it narrows the space for Vietnam.
That would bring it back to
See?
here.
So I optically, so I can make those letters, like I said, any size we want. I would say we make the years 2.5 inches and maybe make the Vietnam, if we can get it up to 3.5, I think that would be nice.
Okay.
As,
Yeah, I-
as Tom said, this area here would be about 5 to 5.5 inches. So if you look at these letters, if you bring these down an inch on either side, you're down to like below 2.5, 3 inch.
Yeah, so I would do that, 2.5 to, that's a
I
2.5.
would recommend as large as possible for the Vietnam and the years.
Well,
um,
but they're gonna, I mean, with the names are gonna be 3/4 of an inch. Those letters up there are 3.5.
Oh, this will jump, I mean, you won't be lost on
The
this,
letters will be 3 times bigger than the names.
yeah,
Okay, so one other thing I want to ask about where the basis,
right?
the piece that you have to work with there, it's not the whole 12 feet, right? What the distance you have to work with is,
Which is, on the base itself.
the base is where it's
Yeah.
1965 to 73. Is
Right,
that spanning
you
12
take-
feet across?
No, you take the center, you take the center, and you go 20 inches each way.
Okay,
So it's gonna be cut out, so in other words, the base will be flat, but in this particular section, it'll have a nice angle.
okay, so, all right, so let me get to the point I want to make about this.
Yeah?
Fourth, you got a lot of room to work with, so just as a suggestion, now I understand you don't want to do a poem, but you have room there, so my comment would be, how about if you just push the 1965 as, you know, as far to the left as you can, 73 to the right. I don't see the reason why you need a dash. I think we all get it, but there's room in that panel to have maybe a symbol or two. So forget the poem idea, but you could have an eagle, stars, you could have with the Vietnam Service Medal, something like that, so that there's something that's a little more interesting. And again, I don't see the reason why you need a dash. You could just push the years to the left and right and then have room to do something else.
Well, some people would argue that that dash is war. Have you ever heard the poem, The Dash? That's what it is. That was the actual fighting, where it started, when it ended, it's nothing but, I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm thinking, maybe the ends of the actual monument itself, where you thought that the dates should go, you know, there's nothing to say you couldn't put the
Oh, on the outside.
parallel on the tips, on the end.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You
Okay,
could,
fine.
you
I
could do
just seemed
stars, you could do a South Korean flag on one, you could do a United States one. I mean, you could do something more there, you could put an eagle or
Okay,
something.
either way, I'm sorry.
But I
So-
think the consensus of the committee is that from the Revolutionary War to World War I, to World War II, to everything we've created, it's just names. And I remember Mr. Fuller saying, it's only about the names. At the last meeting when he came, he said, nothing else matters, it's the names. And I think that's probably how the committee feels. So if we use the side images for something to give it some life, I'm not opposed to that, but that's, again, and you know, we could put this thing into place and someone could say, you know what, can we add this? The answer is yes. I mean, if you all get it in place and say, wouldn't it be nice to have this or this?
Well, these are suggestions for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's how things get discussed. I mean, without discussion, you're never gonna create. So it's very important.
So, just did a little quick Dr. Google check on years. And so, Andrew, you should definitely continue your research. A 20-year span is one that's described by the Congressional and Commemoration Timeline, where it goes from 55 to 75.
Yeah.
where 55, well, no, what I'm
No.
saying is, check,
And it was
check all.
funded to the French from 55.
All right, so let me
Funding is
just,
different than,
Andrew, my
Something
point
wrong.
is, there's a lot of different dates out there. For example, in 55, it was the deployment of the Military Assistance Advisory Group to Southeast Asia, which is
Advisory.
documented by the government, wait a minute. And then in the deployment, the mass deployment, Gulf of Tonkin incident triggered the mass mobilization, which was in 64. And then the official endpoint being the, by presidential proclamation by President Ford was 75. So there's a lot of wiggle room in here, so the committee might want to decide on what's the appropriate date, so.
That's why I mentioned that we should look at what the government identifies as the conflict itself. I mean, I know it could go on either side. I mean, you could say World War II actually started in 1938 because Hitler, but again, our involvement for the United States.
And it says the DOD, or whatever it's called, Department of War, looks at different dates and
Department of
different,
Defense.
well,
Right.
no,
But that's something our committee can work on for now. I mean, we can continue to march in regards
Yeah,
to
the
the
big
years.
thing
Let's
is,
not get
the
bogged
big
down.
thing is to approve the
Back on
shape.
track here.
yeah.
Once we approve the shape, then we have about a month to get the lettering.
Right, so we got plenty of time to get the letter.
What
Yes.
does the monument in DC say, the National Monument? Does that have dates on it?
I don't know, Andrew,
Because they
does,
can't be erroneous, right?
Andrew, does that have dates on it at the,
I don't believe the memorial in DC does, just names.
Let me see.
okay.
It starts.
But again, let's not get too mired down. Let's continue to march in regards to, our direction. And as Tom has said, once we finalize the actual design and the look and everything, we've got about a month before we get to even the engraving part. So we've got a little bit of time to work on that. So, so at this point in time, I don't think we necessarily need to have a motion. We're headed in the right direction. Unless there's any changes, the committee members have any ideas, changes that Tom needs to take moving forward, I think we should just continue to march, let Tom do his magic. If anybody's got, Alan, do you have anything you'd like to add, or? Yes, sir, sorry to catch you while you're having a bite.
Making sure my mute was off. I'm 100% behind you, Kevin, on that need to get the right date. I was following along on Google with, was it Carol that was speaking?
Yeah,
Carol,
that
yes.
was me, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason, I was reading right along with you, and the reason they changed it to 1955 in 1998 was because of the gentleman that was killed. So clearly, you don't want a date on there that someone comes and look at and go, wait a minute, my uncle died before that date. So I'm 100% with Kevin on making sure we're using the official dates that are recognized by the U.S. government, because that way we'll stay out of hot water down the long run. So Andrew, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a difficult trek. I'll see what I can do too to get from the DOD, hey, where's the official? Because we actually want it in writing, so that's important too. But otherwise, I'm tracking on everything you all said.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Alan. I think part of the problem, the essential problem is there was never a war declared. And, you could, Carol pointed out that the Gulf of Tonkin resolution in Congress was 1964, but, other wars, there was declaration. We haven't declared a war since World War II, technically.
Right.
So, yeah, it's kind of a moving target, and I appreciate anybody if they could look into that, and we'll get back together on the dates.
Okay. Cecil, do you have anything you'd like
All
to add?
set? No?
Okay. All right, so absent any change of course, Tom's headed in the right direction. Let him continue to march. I will, I've sent those images off to Alan and to Andrew. If you want to take, when you get a chance, if you want to take a look at those.
Thank you.
Hopefully that'll answer any questions you may have in regards to the looks, et cetera. I'm wrecking the place. No, I don't, I'm
Oh
not worried
no,
about it.
is that coffee?
That has
Oh.
blocks under the table.
Okay, now we've had
All right,
a.
Kevin, am I all set with you guys?
Yes, you're all set. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tom.
We'll be in touch.
All right.
I'm not
Bye.
gonna push this thing again.
I don't know, but
Okay, in the essence of time, I'm
Yes.
gonna continue to march. The rest of this is more or less just me yapping.
good.
Civil War Soldier Memorial Update, just to let everyone know, from town meeting in the spring, it was approved to resurrect the soldier at the end of Monument Road, because he's in a backward leaning position. The company that's going to be ferreted out by the town, they're going through the final stages right now, will come down, they will remove Albert from his base. They will transport him up to Canton, where he will go through a resurrection. They're going to redo the tin, and then they will, once they're done, they're gonna bring him back all polished up and all purdied. They're going to replace the Civil War musket, and they'll clean up the figurine that's around the actual granite base. And hopefully that will be in place before Memorial Day of next year. Fingers crossed. But we are in the process of, the town is gonna be putting it out to, they're putting it out to bid, but they're the only company that can do that kind of work in the Northeast, so they will, in all likelihood, be getting that contract. So that is on the horizon. The next item on the agenda is the upcoming Veterans Day service. Just so everyone knows, I have reached out to Darren Morgan, as a chaplain. He's from the Federated Church. He will speak, he will do the opening and closing prayer, benediction rather, and we have the music will be the Knoxville Regional Middle School. We'll have them do the, sing the national anthem and a couple of other musical pieces. And I'm just gonna put it out there now, when Alan and Andrew, if you could stay on with me just a little bit. I'm going to close the meeting, but I just want to have a discussion about something I want to bring the committee up on, but I will discuss that after.
Will do.
I have reached out to Jeff Smith to be our keynote speaker. He's indicated that he would be interested, but he wants me to touch base with him prior to, just to make sure that he's good with that. So there is a chance that he may not be available for the actual keynote. So if anybody knows of someone who could be a keynote speaker, by all means, kind of keep that in
I think Alan Chase would do a great job.
Alan Chase, I think, would be a
Yeah.
great candidate, being a brand-new member of our
And a
committee,
30-year veteran.
30-year veteran. I cannot think of a better
Yeah,
keynote speaker.
sign him up.
We'll chat. All right, and
Excuse
the,
me, who is Jeff Smith?
Jeff Smith, he has spoken at a couple of our other meetings. He's a Master Chief in the Coast Guard.
Oh,
He has spoken at, actually, several of our Memorial Day and/or Veterans Day services. It would be really great, Alan, to have somebody new, so just to, not to be too obvious or anything, but we'll talk offline.
Normally they make the new guy be the treasurer, so I guess it's fair.
It's either that or the secretary.
getting off easy.
We
Yeah.
have no money, so no problem.
The other thing I would like to just remind our committee is, I know that we've been focused in and we've had our homework in getting the Korean War and the Vietnam War, but we need to keep our sights set on the horizon. We've got other memorials too that we've got to start thinking about. Whether we, as collectively as a committee, look at War on Terror, WOT, and we combine the Gulf War and Afghanistan and Iraq, all part of the same. I don't want to run into an issue where, as the Korean War and the Vietnam War memorials were both put on the same block or the same memorial, if they need to be separate and distinct unto each other, then, we should discuss that at this point in time or in the near future. But let's keep that on our radar screen, so to speak, moving forward. And the only thing last that I would like to mention is, I did mention it on the third to the last item on the agenda, including, future memorials, including veteran squares. Just a reminder to all our members, most everybody knows, but we have several squares in town that signify soldiers or citizen soldiers of Orleans that gave the ultimate sacrifice. The triangle or the square that is at Pochit and Barley Neck. There's another one at Locust and Main Street. There's another down on Willie Atwood. We have several squares in town that have a memorial, and we do plant flags there, but maybe our committee could look at maybe dressing those up a little bit or coming up with some ideas about making those memorials a little bit more distinguished. I know a lot of times I've mentioned to people that we have those memorials, and people, they drive by them every day, but they don't even know that they're there. So maybe it's time that we kind of make them a little bit more visible and a little bit more, I mean, these Orleans citizen soldiers gave the ultimate sacrifice for our town and for our country. So let's honor them the way they should be. I have spoken to the town. They have agreed that they will support our committee in regards to identifying those and making them, beautifying them a little bit, and possibly adding some down the road. But again, that's something for future discussion, but just wanted to let everybody know about that. Carol?
Are there pictures of these squares? Are they literally squares in the sidewalk?
No, they're actually triangles.
Triangle.
Oh, they're triangles, but they're embedded in sidewalk? Or
No,
are they?
They're actually little islands.
They're islands. If you go down, if you go down to Barley Neck, and you take a right at the Barley Neck Inn, and then take a right onto Barley Neck, that triangle right there is the Atwood Walker.
Yeah, that's, yeah, Albert Nassar.
Albert.
You know that?
Is that Albert Massey?
No, he's up
We
in,
should.
Oh, he's Locust, okay. I think Atwood is at the intersection, at the triangle at Barley Neck and Pochit. And there is a post there, and there is a bronze memorial at the top.
Oh, wow.
And he passed away, he died in a plane crash. He was a B-17 navigator, I believe, who died when they were returning to base. But again, I don't want to beleaguer this any further, but these are, you know, our committee is here to honor veterans, let's honor them. And these are the ultimate sacrifice, so let's not forget. So, anyway. If there is anything else, Alan, is there anything you'd like to add or you would like to mention?
No, I'm good, thanks. I've followed along great, and the video's been good too. I've been able to see. The only thing probably for Andrew and I both is, yeah, we don't get the down. You know, when you went down on the PDF, that helped a lot too. But no, it's been easy to follow. Thanks.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and if there's anything I can help, you know, if you need any, I can send along some of the PDF or the images that Tom has sent me in regards to the bronze plaques as well. I will send those to you folks. I literally just got those today, so I will forward up those both to Alan, Andrew, Cecil, and Dave Lai. I'm not sure if Dave's still a member of our committee or not, but we'll,
6-1.
yeah. What's that?
6-1, he hasn't met in a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, so anyway, I've been in communication with Michael Herman about his position, so we'll move forward with that. With that being said, Carol?
Just one question about the squares. Is it possible to forward the list of these squares so
Sure.
that we could do a little tour
Sure.
ourselves?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep, I've got pictures of each of them on my big book. So I'll forward those to you. I'll forward them to everybody so everyone knows.
Thank you.
Okay, unless there's anything further, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Okay, do I hear a second? I'm sorry, I think I talked over.
Yep, someone said.
Seconded.
Okay, Alan seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Kevin Higgins, aye. Cecil Newcomb.
Aye.
Alan Chase,
One says aye.
and Andrew.
Giovanni, aye.